Mike's Thoughts. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, the Chiefsaholic has been ordered to pay $10 million to the teller in Oklahoma that he robbed back in 2022. As you guys know, the Chiefsaholic took a plea deal in 11 robberies across the about 5-6 years of the landscape, reaching a totaling about $800,000. The plea agreement requires him to pay at least $532,000 in restitution, I should say. Chiefsaholic says that he is unemployed, says he does not have a job, and he does plan on not getting a job, but he does plan on writing a book and a Hallmark movie to help pay back these debts. So when I heard this, I was like, Chiefsaholic, first of all, can you even write a book, my man? Can you even sit down and put thoughts to paper and write a book? And then I got to really thinking, I'm like, man, this person robbed 11 banks. Over those 11 banks is paying less than $500,000. But one bank teller in Oklahoma is getting $10 million for pain and suffering and after effects and all this other crap. Like, what in the world is going on? What about those other 10 bank tellers that had a gun held to their face? What about those other 10 people that had experienced the same thing? $10 million to one bank teller for a robbery when the banks were only getting $500,000 back and the other 10 plus tellers aren't getting jack shit? What is wrong with the world? But you know what? The squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? As they say. It is what it is at the end of the day. But cue that intro. Are you ready for the best damn NFL show on the planet? Man Hour Nation, rise up.
Yeah, hey, let's go. Hitting that gridiron, we going hard, we running the plays. You know the vibe, only the strong survive. Gotta keep your head in the game. Talking NFL, uncut, straight raw. Steady bringing that sauce. We about to take off. Get it hype, this man, our sport talk. Yeah, from the quarterback to the lineman. Everybody bringing heat. You don't really want to try them. Hey, who gon' win? It's a battle of the giants. This show is the flyest. Nobody can deny it. This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception? This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception? Let's go.
What is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Bakashi here with the Man Hour. Be sure to head up to NFLtoday.co. Check out the blog section. Check out the merchandise check-in. Check out the score. Check out the stats. Check out what's going on over there at NFLtoday.co. But most importantly, click on the forums tab. manhour.info. Check it out. The forums are live over there. I'm setting up RSS feeds right now, so every time we post something, it goes directly to the forums, and I am loving each and every minute of it. But if you guys have not become a Pigskin Pundit yet, click on the link in the description below. Become a Pigskin Pundit, because as of April 26th, we'll be off the air for 6 weeks. No live, raw, uncut show right here from April 26th until June 18th. 6 weeks fully off. But if you are a Pigskin Pundit, you do get some footage still. You still get some rawness. You still get some liveness. You still get some uncutness as long as you become a Pigskin Pundit. Breaking down draft footage, dropping back film footage. We're going to shoot the shit. We're going to have a good old time for the next 6 weeks, but you have to be a Pigskin Pundit. This is a live interactive show here, guys, so be sure to comment. Comments are encouraged. Talk your stuff and be ready to defend yourself. Defend yourself, because this is the most toxic fan base in all of American sports. But let's go ahead and welcome some people into the chat here. We got my man. Speaking of Pigskin Pundits, the man, the myth, the legend, the man that always butters my biscuit on a Tuesday morning, Mr. John Peoples. He is a resident NFL expert because he doesn't have 4 letters in his name. Therefore, that makes him qualified to speak on the NFL. He says, "What up, y'all?" What is up, John? What is up? What is up? What is up? John also says, I am the king of the uncutness. Yes, everything is directly off the top of my dome. I don't have anybody in my ear. The only reason why I got headphones on is so I can actually hear myself talk, because I am in a place where it echoes real bad. I can hear the music, and every time a comment comes, and I have a little chime set up so I can know to go over there and check it out. But John says, the king of uncutness. I like that. Get y'all some pundits, says John. Yeah, guys, join up. Join some pundit talk. Join some pundit talk. But guys, the Chiefsaholic, man. Do you guys remember that story from a couple years ago? He would go around the country robbing banks to basically get tickets to go to the games, because every game he was at, he literally did not miss a game for many, many years, right? He was front row, right there center, with the wolf mask on. He would rob the banks with the wolf mask on, like, apparently. It is stupid. It is stupid that, what's going on here? It's stupid that it come down to that. But if you guys are living under a rock, did anybody watch the national championship game last night? Did you guys watch the Purdue Boilermakers take on the UConn Huskies? I had a rooting interest in there. Our boy here from Southern Indiana, Trey Kaufman, is a starter for the Purdue Boilermakers. He's going on his sophomore year now, right? Long ago, we actually had him here on the Man Hour. Him and Wyatt are best friends. They've been friends since kindergarten, and we had a great time, a great opportunity to talk to Trey. But this year, guys, we have seen back-to-back championships in the NFL, the Kansas City Chiefs. We've seen back-to-back championships in college basketball in the UConn men. And then the South Carolina women have won 2 out of the last 3. So I had a conversation, a healthy conversation. Is it harder to repeat in college basketball or in the NFL? And me and my wife were going back and forth about it. It got pretty heated, and I'm thinking, you know what? I bet you it is harder to repeat in college basketball than it is NFL. Yes, the NFL, any given Sunday, right? Everybody's on a pretty much an equal playing field. Let's just be honest. And any given Sunday, you can win. A team gets hot at the right time. You can make it to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl. But the difference between NFL and college is, in college you only have four years to really stake your claim, right? You have 4 years like, hey, this is us. And usually when you win one national championship, most of those players are probably older or good enough to go into the NBA. So they're going to no longer be on your team. So you got to reload and refuel and get that team back in there and get them back to championship caliber status and bring them back up again. So truth be told, as we don't see it very often in any sports, back-to-back championships, let alone 2 this season in South Carolina women, 2 out of the last 3. Is it harder to repeat in NFL or college basketball? I'm curious. Let me guys know in the chat. I think it's college basketball. I think it's harder to repeat in college basketball just because of the transfer process, the draft process, right? Once you win, people want to go, get successful. It is what it is. Wayne G is in the chat. It says college basketball. I'd rather watch The View. What? Wayne G, aren't you like a basketball connoisseur? I mean, I guess like an NBA connoisseur, but come, man, there's nothing like March Madness. Now, I do love me some NBA playoffs. Love me some hockey playoffs. Hell, I love the Major League Baseball playoffs as well. But give me college basketball over all those any day of the week. Any day of the week. Wayne G says women's college hoops is the easiest to repeat because no underclassmen leave. This is probably true. Women's college sports are more lucrative than the professionals, right? I mean, if you look at it, Caitlin Clark was making like $10, $12 million in college. When she goes to the WNBA, she's going to make $700,000. She's taking like an 80% pay cut unless she joins the Big 3 with Ice Cube. But, yeah. John says the only reason why I watch March Madness. It is. It is true. But guys, let's get into some NFL talk here. And the Dallas Cowboys are going to be the talk of the town. The Dallas Cowboys are a team that they said, and I quote, "We are all in on 2024." They have not done anything in the 2024 offseason to prove that they are all in on this 2024 landscape here. They lost their starting center. They lost their starting left tackle. Van Der Esch has retired. They're not doing good. They are not doing good. Dak Prescott, Micah Parsons, CeeDee Lamb are all entering the final years of their deal. No traction has been made to really work out any types of deal. Everything's pointing that Dak Prescott will actually be a free agent in 2025. Micah Parsons got basically the fifth-year option as a defensive end, making him like $3 million less. Basically, guys, CeeDee Lamb says he is sitting out until he gets a deal. Until CeeDee Lamb gets a deal, he says he is sitting out. And when I got to thinking about this, I'm like, holy shit, the Cowboys are screwed. They're screwed, right? CeeDee Lamb, arguably the number one receiver on the Dallas Cowboys. Arguably a top 2-3 receiver in the NFL. Last season, 1,700 yards, 12 touchdowns on 135 catches. Some big catches for CeeDee Lamb. The one that rang my mind the most here was when the Dallas Cowboys were like on the 1 yard line and CeeDee Lamb ran a slant route and took it to the house like 99 yards. I don't remember who they were playing, but that basically blew that game apart. CeeDee Lamb is guaranteed $17.9 million this season, and he understands he's very, very important to the Cowboys. So on this Overreaction Tuesday, we got to ask the question. Is this an overreaction on CeeDee Lamb's part, saying that he is going to sit out the 2024 NFL season if he does not get a contract done? Guys, right now it is April 9th. It is April 9th, 2024. We have yet to have the draft. We have yet to have OTAs. We have yet to have a single preseason game. Some teams are doing some type of mini camp work, basically get some treatment done, get in the weight room, that kind of thing. But nothing is really mandatory right now. Dak Prescott, Micah Parsons, CeeDee Lamb, and throw in Mike McCarty, all on their final years of their deal. Truth be told, it is time to put up or shut up. Now, I do understand CeeDee Lamb is going to set the market. I do understand CeeDee Lamb is going to get some dollar bills, yo. The last big name receiver for the Dallas Cowboys that got paid, Amari Cooper, was it 5 years, $100 million? CeeDee Lamb should probably get 5 years, about $160 million. He's going to get paid. But is it an overreaction as of April 9th that you're saying you're going to sit out if you do not get a contract? Let me break it down here real quick. This is an overreaction. This is an overreaction because you signed a contract. Now, I do understand this on the business side of things. If a player like CeeDee Lamb is not living up to expectations, said person can fire said person, aka cut them, right? Now, if a person goes in there demanding more money, they have a right to demand more money. But at the end of the day, you are under a contract. You signed a contract betting on yourself, right? $17.9 million this season, guaranteed, fully guaranteed, is no slap in the face. That's still a lot of money. CeeDee Lamb entering, his fourth year? He is going to get paid. Show out this season, CeeDee Lamb. Show out and show that you want to be a part of the Dallas Cowboys. The three-headed monster of the Dallas Cowboys right now, Dak Prescott, Micah Parsons, and CeeDee Lamb, you guys are all going to get paid. So to threaten to say that you're going to sit out, slow it down, baby. Slow it down. Stop overreacting. It's April. It's April. Get out of the freaking news. Get in the gym. get in the work field, go to the sand pits down in Miami, catch some passes with Dak, do what you got to do to get better. Let your agent handle it. Let the front office of the Dallas Cowboys handle it. You are going to get your back. Slow it down, baby. That's what people are saying over here in the chat. John People says it's an overreaction. I think me and John are on the same page. You signed a contract. Live up to your contract. $17.9 million. Do your thing, son. Do it, baby. Wayne G says it is not an overreaction. Why should he play on a 1-year deal? It's kind of like saying, why should I play on a 2-year deal? Why should I play on a 3-year deal? Bake on me. If you love me so much, if you think I'm so good, give me a 10, 15, 20-year deal, right? Like, at some point, contracts always run out. Even Patrick Mahomes, even Tom Brady's, right? Yes, Tom Brady never played on a 1-year deal per se until his final year in New England, but contracts were always, you always wear out your contract. It's April. Slow it down. I don't care that you shouldn't play on a 1-year deal. Yes, you should play on a 1-year deal. Honor your contract, for crying out loud. The Dallas Cowboys are in shambles right now. You lost your starting center. You lost your starting left tackle. You don't have a starting running back. Tony Pollard got shipped out of town, right? You lost a starting linebacker. Free agency has been nothing but a shit show in Dallas. Let's just be honest. This has been one of the worst offseasons in the Dallas Cowboys' recent history that I can remember. It's been terrible. Let the front office figure it out. Play on your 1-year deal. Wayne G also says players have as much right to hold out as owners have to cut a guy with 2 years left. Yes and no. So usually when a player gets cut, it is because they are not living up to expectations. When I'm paying you $100 an hour and you're doing $40 an hour worth of work, I'm going to find somebody to do that $100 worth like an hour. Like, if you are not living up to expectations, see ya, get out of the road. Now, if you are living up to expectations and you are going into that final year, if you're going beyond expectations, thank you. Thank you for that. And we will get you taken care of. But to say right now you're not going to play, that puts a sour taste in my mouth real freaking quick. Now, there's a reason why I will never be an owner or a general manager of any major sports teams. Because if a player were to do something like this to me, I would not take too kindly of it. I'd be like, oh, here's a franchise tag, right? I mean, I will franchise tag you 3 years in a row just to prove a point. Like, I get it, but at the same time, I don't get it. John People says way too early. He'll get his cheddar. He will get his, yes, CeeDee Lamb will get paid. He will get a $100 million, $150, $160, $180 million contract. He will get his money. Whether it's with the Dallas Cowboys or the Kansas City Chiefs or the Detroit Lions or the 49ers or the Raiders, he will get his money. Don't be a diva out there. Many people don't like Tyreek Hill because he's been a diva, right? Many people don't like Terrell Owens because he was a diva. They just wanted to get paid. Like, I get it. But come on. Damn it, CeeDee, just get on the field. Wayne G says, when the team is over the barrel, it's the perfect time to demand an extension. You have the leverage. You are correct. The Dallas Cowboys are in trouble right now. They got to figure out what they want to do with Dak Prescott. They got to figure out what they want to do with Micah Parsons. They got to figure out what they want to do with CeeDee. They have a lot of things to figure out in the next 6 months. May, June, July, August. I guess 4 months. They have about 4 months to figure a lot of things out. But right now, for CeeDee to come 15 days before draft, 16 days before draft, to say, I'm going to sit out if I don't get a contract done, I would be shut your damn mouth. Boy, I got a draft to worry about. You want to win? You want to win a Super Bowl? Let's worry about this instead. Jim says, I don't agree with anything. That's our president of the Pigskin Pundit Club there, guys. Jim Powell doesn't agree with anything. Speaking of the draft, Merrill Hodge, the great Merrill Hodge, has come out and spoken about Drake Maye. On this Overreaction Tuesday, Merrill Hodge is speaking about Drake Maye. He says, and I quote, Drake Maye is a player that will get you fired. If you draft Drake Maye, he will get you fired faster than you can say Tuesday. He pointed out to the last game of Drake Maye's career in college versus NC State, where he just played one of his worst games in his college career. So we got to ask this question, guys. Is it an overreaction that Drake Maye is going to be a draft day bust? Drake Maye, guys, is projected to go anywhere from number 2 to number 11. And Miller's current mock draft from ESPN, he has Drake Maye, the 4th quarterback going off the board, going to the Minnesota Vikings. Either way, it seems that he is going to be a top half of the first round draft pick here. In college last season, he threw for 3,600 yards, 24 touchdowns to 9 interceptions. He was sacked just 9 times. Guys, Drake Maye is a very, very raw talent. Drake Maye has a lot of intangibles that just need to be molded into what you want him to make. Drake Maye is kind of like the clay creature that you've made. It looks pretty good, but you're getting ready to put it in the into the fire oven, and you're going to bring it out. You get to paint it. You get to trim off the lines. You get to do all that stuff. Drake Maye is very, very raw. He needs to be taught how to play an NFL game. Merrill Hodge says, and I quote, Drake Maye is a player that's going to get you fired. Basically, Merrill Hodge is saying that Drake Maye is a player that needs to be coached. Merrill Hodge is basically saying that Drake Maye is a player that looks great on film, looks great doing this, doing that, but when it comes down to it, he just doesn't have it. Let me ask you this question. Since when does a coach don't need a coach, right? Isn't that the reason why you get into the game, is to coach players, is to teach them how to be a good quarterback? There's a reason why Chicago Bears fail after quarterback after quarterback after quarterback, is because they don't understand that you have to sometimes coach players to be better. A kid on my high school team, the most sickest athlete in the world. He can do a 360 slam dunk without blinking an eye. He is faster than greased lightning. He can catch the ball. He just doesn't know how to run routes very, very well. What have we been doing all spring, all summer? Teaching him how to run routes. Coaching him how to run routes. That's the part of being a coach, is taking that talent, drafting that talent, molding it, and putting it on the field. Coaching him. So Merrill Hodge says Drake Maye is a player that will get you fired. Guys, this is an overreaction or underreaction. Is Drake Maye going to be a draft bust? Is he going to be a draft bust? Marvin Harrison says, sit your ass down, CeeDee. Here we go. Wayne G says Hodge doesn't like Maye. Doesn't like Caleb. Who the hell does he like? From everything that I've watched about Merrill Hodge, because, Jim puts Merrill Hodge on this pedestal. Jim Powell puts Merrill Hodge underneath Allah and says, you are the greatest thing ever, right? Merrill Hodge likes Spencer Rattler. That's who Merrill Hodge liked. Merrill Hodge likes Spencer Rattler. Doesn't like Caleb Williams. Doesn't like Drake Maye. Doesn't like J.J. McCarty. Somebody pissed on this man's Cheerios. Somebody get this man some Frosted Flakes with some 2% milk, because he is not happy. Get him a little bit of sugar in his life. Jim's pal says if Hodge says it, put some money on it, baby. Like I just said, Jim Powell puts Merrill Hodge up on this pedestal. Jim Powell thinks there are 3 levels of worship in Jim Powell's life. Number 3 is Jesus. Number 2 is the Las Vegas Raiders. Number 1 is Merrill Hodge. Merrill Hodge trumps everybody in Jim Powell's eyes. Carson Lang says, wasn't Josh Allen supposed to be a bust too? That I don't know. I have only recently started listening to Merrill Hodge because Jim loves him so much, and I want Merrill Hodge to be wrong so bad. So I've been trying to looking at anything to like poke the bear, right? Just like Merrill Hodge said this, Merrill Hodge said that. But yeah. Got Tyler's in the chat. What's up, Tyler? I can't pop up your chat for some reason, but we see Tyler says Dallas Cowboys are trash. If you think a trash Super Bowl team is there, but whatever, man. Jim says Allen is kind of a bust compared to his expectations. Oof. When we look at Josh Allen, what has he done? Really? He's been to 1 AFC championship, thought they had it in the bag 13 seconds later. Is that too soon? I don't know. Is Josh Allen a bust, guys? I mean, when we look at Josh Allen, we do put him up on the pedestal. Nice, strong arm talent, wins a lot of games, can never get the job done. Kind of like Lamar Jackson, right? Wins a lot of games, puts up a lot of stats, puts a lot of wow factor in them, but can never get the job done. Tua puts up a lot of stats, puts a lot of wow factor, can never get the job done. I think to put Josh Allen in some type of bust category or Lamar Jackson into some type of bust category, we first have to establish what is a bust. I mean, obviously there's going to be caveats to everything, but the bulk of the matter kind of like our dynasty talk. If you win 3 Super Bowls in 10 years, you can kind of be inserted into that dynasty talk. But I think Josh Allen making it to the AFC Championship game almost instantly takes that bust label off of him. Lamar Jackson making it to the AFC Championship game instantly takes that bust level off of him. So I don't think Josh Allen is a bust of any type of stretch of the of imaginations, because legitimately, as a Buffalo Bills fan, Carson, I saw you up there. What are the expectations for the Buffalo Bills? Right now, I don't think the Buffalo Bills are a Super Bowl bust or type of team. They are, let's make it to the second round playoff expectation type of team. And Josh Allen does make it to the second 10. Merrill who? Merrill Hodge. Hodge. Hodgepodge. Jim said, if I had feelings, they would be hurt right now. I don't try to hurt your feelings, but facts are facts. Wayne G. Speaking of Wayne G, his NFL Experts podcast is on tomorrow, guys, 7 p.m. East Coast time. Be sure to check it out. Got my man Beastie going on there. I assume you guys are going to talk first overall draft pick, but who knows? Tune in to what they're going to talk about, because Combs is going to be wrong. But Wayne G says, isn't Josh Allen the only player in the NFL history to throw for 40 touchdowns in 4 straight seasons? Nobody would want that on their team. Give him Aiden O'Connell, right? Oh, man. Jim, if you had feelings, they would be even hurt even more now, because Wayne G just dropped the hammer on you. 40 touchdowns in 4 straight seasons. What team doesn't want that? How is that a bust, right? Consistently, over and over and over, putting up 40 touchdowns, 40 tutties, year after year after year. It's not like he's pulling a Jameis Winston throwing 30 interceptions too. Even then, 40 tutties is a lot of tutties. Yeah, that is a lot of tutties. Carson says, Josh Allen is considered a top 5 quarterback in the league. I put him at number 2, actually. Football is a team sport. True. Last year, Allen gave the defense the lead 6 times and they lost it. Hard to say that is a bust. So Carson says in the fourth quarter alone, Josh Allen gave the defense the lead 6 times. 6 times, and they lost the game. He is that guy, says Carson. He also says most touchdowns in the first 5 years. So basically, what Carson is saying, Carson, let me help you out here. Josh Allen has not been the problem in Buffalo the last 5 seasons. There's a reason why Micah Hyde got cut. There's a reason why Poyer got cut. There's a reason why the Buffalo Bills are going to have a brand new defense in 2024 is because they gave up the lead 6 times last season when they had a lead going into the fourth quarter and lost them the games. That's what Carson is trying to say. Jim, another feelings hurt there. 3 strikes and you're out. WB Ant in the chat. What's up, Ant? He says, if you check the stats, he actually hasn't thrown 40-plus touchdowns in 4 straight seasons. Uh-oh. Stat check. Let's go to NFLtoday.co and stat check it. Let's stat check it. Let me pull it up. NFLtoday.co. We're going to click on the Buffalo Bills. We're going to scroll down, click on Josh Allen. And then we are going to click on all stats. Bada bing, bada boom. Bada bing, bada boom. Let's see what Josh Allen has done. 2023, 29 tutties. Actually, shoot, guys, he has never broken 40 tutties. 2022, he had 35. 21, he had 36. 2020, he had 37. And then 2019, he had 20. And his rookie year, he only had 10. But still, he's putting up 30 tutties. 37, 36, 35, and 29 last season. That's still nothing to blink an eye about. He's still doing work. Come on, yo. John People says Allen is a franchise guy, no doubt about it. I agree. I agree that I would probably start any team around Josh Allen. If I had an opportunity to redraft Josh Allen and my team, I'm like, you know what? Go get Josh Allen. Dallas Cowboys, go get Josh Allen. Chargers, go get Josh Allen. Raiders, go get Josh Allen. The only team right now that would not like a Josh Allen is probably the Kansas City Chiefs. And even then, maybe. Maybe. Right? Shit. Not just the fourth quarter, under 5 minutes in the fourth quarter. Man, the Buffalo Bills defense was that bad. Gave up 6 leads last season. In the fourth quarter, with under 5 minutes left to go, they gave up a lead 6 times. What? Carson says, I blame the defensive strategy. They played prevent, as Buck says, it prevents you from winning the game. Hasn't thrown 40, but puts 40 a year. Yes. When you have a lead going into the fourth quarter, guys, let me give you some coaching 101 here. I do not have a prevent defense in my playbook at all. Nope, not whatsoever. If it's the end of a half, end of a quarter, whatever, and say we're up by 6 and they got to go 80 yards, I'm not playing prevent. I'm not going to be any lateral type of bullshit highlight reel on my watch. No way, no how. I'm going to send a blitz. I'm going to rush my 4 guys. I'm going to send an outside linebacker blitz in the quarterback's face. So if he's right-handed coming off the left-hand side, I want a guy in his face. I want him to step up into a pocket, into my linebacker, and my cornerbacks are going to be pressed. My safeties will take 2 steps back, play a nice little sky defense, cover 2, but I'm going to be pressing, and I'm going to be bringing the heat. That is what I'm going to do. There's a reason why I have never given up a fourth quarter lead. There is a reason that I have never lost a final game on a Hail Mary pass. There is a reason why I am a very, very good coach. Wayne G says, passing plus rushing, he had 15 rushing touchdowns last season. I did not look up rushing, Wayne G. You are correct. So if you want to add rushing into the fact, you are correct. So 30 plus 15 is over 40. You add 7 more rushing touchdowns to his 35 in 2022. That's over 40. 6 to his 36 touchdowns. That's over 40. You add 8 to 2020 to 37. That's over 40. Hell, in 2019, 20 touchdowns to 10 rushing touchdowns. That's 30. So, Wayne G, you are correct. I just speaking on passing. I was not speaking on total rushing and things, right? Rushing included. Yep. Edwin Butler's in the chat. There's a new name. What's up, Edwin? He says, Allen is a top quarterback in the league. Coaching is the problem. Coaching is not the problem on the offensive side of the ball. When they fired Ken Dorsey, bye week last year was at week 12, right? The offense got a hell of a lot better. The problem with Josh Allen in years past is, let me retract what I just said. Previously, Ken Dorsey wanted Josh Allen to throw the ball all over the field, Edwin. He wanted him to throw it 80, 90 times a game, percent-wise. When Joe Brady came over, it's a 50-50 split, and they did a hell of a lot better. So it's not the coaching, it's the scheme, right? But it is what it is. John People says, stat-wise, I think he's better than Mahomes. Stat-wise, he is. But you have to go off the eye test, right? Stats do lie to you. You can see that, James Winston, 29-19, 35 touchdowns to 30 interceptions. Combsy will stick on the 35 touchdowns aspect because Combsy thought Jameis Winston was a top 10 quarterback for a long, long time. He will point out 35 touchdowns. But haters that don't think he's top 10 will point to the 30 interception. You have to look at the whole picture. Stats do tell a part of the story, but they lie to you. They can be misleading. Use your eye test. Eye test right now, when you look at quarterbacks on said team, I would take Patrick Mahomes over Josh Allen right now because I think Patrick Mahomes makes teammates around him better. He has that winning backing behind him, right? Just like Tom Brady makes players around him better. Run the football. Edwin said, well said, dude. What is this guy? Trying to butter me up for something, Edwin? No, I'm kidding. Thanks, man. Allen is a beast, he says. Jim also says, so let's get rid of running backs so we can count on quarterbacks to rush. Hasn't that what they've pretty much done? There's a reason why running backs are a dime a dozen right now, Jim. There is a reason why most teams have 2-3 running backs and a mobile quarterback. Running backs are just a false narrative now. I do like the addition of Derrick Henry to the Baltimore Ravens, but to say that he is going to take Lamar Jackson's rushing ability away, to say he's going to instantly change the Baltimore Ravens, it's on paper, sure. On Madden, sure. Real life. Between the white lines. Does it really matter? Probably not. Edwin says Mahomes has a top 5 coach. That's the reason why people think he's better than Josh Allen. So, when you look at drafts, when you look at life in general, right, it is all about situations. If I fall into a situation where the foundation has been set, the leadership, the culture has been set, it is easy for me to go into said coaching situation where I'm at now, where the foundation and culture has been set, to really build on that, right? We can have success a hell of a lot faster. Boom, boom, boom. We expect to be great. Now, previous job, no culture was set. Everybody was free range. Everybody was able to do whatever they want, when they want, how they want. It was tough to go in there the first two years to flex your muscles. Say, like, hey, this is the way. This is the way. This is the way, right? Now, to say that Mahomes is only that good because of a top 5 coach is partial truth. If Patrick Mahomes would have went to the Chicago Bears, probably would have been like Mitchell Trubisky yet. Yes. But if you put Josh Allen in like in that boat, probably would have been the same way. You put Tua in that boat, probably the same way. If you put Patrick Mahomes on the Buffalo Bills and then Josh Allen on the Kansas City Chiefs, I still think Mahomes would be better because the Brian Daboll was a very good coach. There's a reason why he's a head coach now. But I don't think you can go wrong right now either way of saying Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen is the number one quarterback. You can possibly put 1A, 1B if you want to fully waffle around the answer. Josh Allen is a very, very good talent. He was also in a less fortunate organization or a less fortunate position when he did get drafted to the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills were not very good. They had some parts, they had some pieces, but they were not very good. The Kansas City Chiefs were kind of already a really, really good team. Alex Smith had them going to the playoffs. 13 wins, 11 wins, right? They were up there. They were doing good. Bias much, says John? What do you think, Jim Powell? WABN says, with the new tackling rules, sure, why not? But honestly, I think the new rule will benefit all running backs. So let's talk about the tackling rule. Wayne G, correct me if I'm wrong, because these are your stats. I do believe. He said the hip tackle rule only affected 230 plays last season. So out of 10 to 20,000 plays last season in the NFL 2023 NFL season, only 230 of those tackles were the hip tackle rule that they're taking out. I don't mean the hip tackle is still going to be there. It is the jumping and spinning around that has been outlawed or banned or whatever. Really, what I think it benefits the most is probably wide receivers on that screen, right? Because when you get a linebacker flying at a receiver, you can't hit him high, you can't hit him low, you kind of just got to jump and grab them and kind of swing them out. That is what is going to be really beneficial on like on that. WBN says, nah, Mahomes is just a different and a better decision maker. Patrick Mahomes does have a lot more confidence right now than Josh Allen, I do believe. It can go back to what Edwin was saying, right? When you have a top 5 coach that you're confident that is making the correct calls, it makes you a more confident player. I do like Mahomes right now, but he is a better decision maker, and I think you're right. Jim says, Andy Reid is the winningest coach of the 2 NFL franchises. Texas Tech didn't win a natty when home skillet was there. Listen, Patrick Mahomes was a subpar college quarterback. I had the opportunity to watch him a couple times right there on the sidelines when the Kansas State University beat Texas Tech, 2015? I think it was 16. Whatever. It was a great opportunity to see Patrick Mahomes up and in person way before he was Patrick Mahomes, right? He was not a very good quarterback. He did have arm talent. He did have the mobility. He was not a very good decision maker. He threw into a lot of doubles and triple coverages. Lucky for him, he had a really good receiver core that would go up and get the ball. Patrick Mahomes was a subpar college quarterback. Wayne G says, according to the NFL safety committee, 230 of the 34,000 tackles last year were the hip tackle that was banned. WBN says he didn't win a Super Bowl until Mahomes arrived, though. The one that he got with the Packers was an assistant coordinator. Yeah, you were right. Patrick Mahomes did finally get Andy Reid over that hump, right? He finally did get him over that hump and get him 3 Super Bowls now as a head coach. Speaking of Super Bowls, it doesn't seem like anytime soon that New York Giants will be winning any type of playoff games or Super Bowl in any time soon. Malik Nabers is projected to be going to the New York Football Giants. In a press conference Monday afternoon, he was asked about the idea of him going to the New York Giants. He says, and I quote, I like the idea, but the Giants need to figure out their quarterback situation. We need to figure out if we're going to draft a guy or if DJ is the guy moving forward. Malik Nabers is not even a member of the New York Giants yet. He is not even a member of an NFL team yet. He hasn't even been drafted yet. Already throwing shade at a potential quarterback that he could be playing with. Guys, but is this an overreaction? Do the Giants need to draft a quarterback more than they need to draft a wide receiver? I've been going back and forth on this, and even right now, I really haven't made a decision yet. I've been trying to think of like, man, what, basically I'm thinking to myself, how can the Giants mess this up? 6th overall pick, how can they mess this up, right? But when you think about it, Odell Beckham Jr. was the last big-name receiver that the New York Giants had. He was also the last receiver that they had that broke 1,000 yards. When was that? 2012, 2011, right? Odell Beckham Jr. hasn't been a primetime big-name receiver at least 10 years, right? Daniel Jones did sign a pretty big deal, a pretty good deal last season when they decided not to sign Saquon Barkley and franchise tag him and ultimately let him walk away. But Daniel Jones has a $69 million dead cap hit this season if he were to be cut. He did play 6 games last season, threw for 900 yards, 2 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. Daniel Jones was not very good last season. But also on the flip side of the coin, Daniel Jones has been a very injury-prone quarterback. Very injured-prone. Much like Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow. But Daniel Jones kind of gets a pass because he's with the New York Giants, right? He played 13 games his rookie year. He did not start. He came in, week 6 over Eli Manning. He played 14 games his second year, 11 games in 2021. He did play a full season in 2022, but last season, obviously, he only played 6 games, I should say. Guys, Malik Nabers is probably bright. Malik Nabers actually is spot on. The New York Giants need to figure out their quarterback situation. That's what it comes down to. If Daniel Jones is the guy, buy into him, put out some type of press release, say he is our guy, no question about it, we back you 100%. If he's not your guy, get him out of town. Do not let a toxic relationship get any more toxic. What I'm saying is Daniel Jones thinks everything is good in New York. Daniel Jones signed, a 4-year, $160 million deal. Daniel Jones thinks things are good and gravy in New York. But the ownership, the coaching, the general manager's like, maybe it's not. Yeah, we're still together, but I'm looking over here. Yeah, you got your nice little saggy boobies and some colorful flower ass. But I see this tight little ass, nice perky boobies. You just got your hair did over there. I like that. But we're still together, but I like that. That's going to cause a rift. The Giants need to be all in, point their eyes from over here to Daniel Jones. You are our guy. We can work up that butt. We can do some squats. We can get that cauliflowerness out of there. The boobs are just going to be saggy. It is what it is. After you get some kids sucking on those titties for like a few weeks, it just shit happens. If you can live with that and stop looking over there, Daniel Jones might be successful in New York. But right now, Daniel Jones will never be successful in New York. Not going to happen. Not with the people around him. Not with the ownership and whatever else looking over here like, oh, look at that fine ass. Damn. It is like a damn girl, right? On Instagram, on highlights, Daniel Jones looks great. Watch a full game of Daniel Jones, like, damn. But Malik Nabers is right. This is not an overreaction. The Giants need to figure out their quarterback situation, nail it, and move it forward. However, he should not be speaking about this. You are not even a member of the New York Giants right now. What happens if you get drafted by the Giants and Daniel Jones is your quarterback moving forward? Instant. Oh. Listen here, boy. You remember how on April 8th, 2024, you said the Giants need a new quarterback? You are not getting the ball, my man. What do you guys think? Is it an overreaction? Do the Giants need a quarterback? John People says yes. John says yes, the Giants need a quarterback. Look at New York. It's all messed up. You know what's really messed up, guys, is we are talking bad about the Giants like they have never done anything, right? They were in the playoffs in 2022. They won a playoff game in 2022. They ultimately lost to the Eagles in the divisional round, which went to the Super Bowl, but they were just in the playoffs with Daniel Jones. Of course, he hasn't played a full NFL season since then, but it is what it is. WBN says the Commanders might be a good fit for Daniel Jones. Paul Akers is Grease. What's up, Paul? I see your question, Paul. I'm going to answer it here in a question. WBN says, is that a trick question? They definitely need a QB. Do they, though? Do they, though? I do understand in 2022, the Giants were carried by Saquon Barkley. First time he was healthy his whole damn career. Daniel Jones, healthy his whole career, right? Everything was perfect in 2022 for the New York Football Giants. 2023, different story. Daniel Jones goes down. Saquon Barkley still healthy. But it's clear that with a healthy running back and a halfway decent receiver core, Daniel Jones can make you to the playoffs, can get you to the playoffs. You get a healthy running back and Malik Nabers plus a healthy Daniel Jones. Playoffs, baby. Playoffs. Yeah, we talking about playoffs. Paul Akers asked the question. First things, Paul. Welcome to the show. A new name here. Glad you are here to join us on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon. He says, where do you think Jalen Daniels is going to end up in this year's draft? Me personally, I think Daniel Jones is worthy of a number 1 overall pick. I think Jaden Daniels is one of the best quarterbacks in the draft. It has the most upside. He has the highest ceiling of all the prospects in this year's draft. However, he is probably going to end up going up to number 2. Not because he is not a good talent, not because the Bears don't want him, because I think somebody is going to offer the Bears something that they cannot refuse to get Caleb Williams, whether it's the Commanders, whether it's the Jets, hell, whether it's the Raiders. Somebody I feel is going to move up into that number 1 overall pick to get Caleb Williams, and Jaden Daniels is going to fall to number 2 to whoever ends up in that number 2 spot, whether it's the Bears, whether it's the Raiders, Jets, whatever, right? Somebody is going to get Jalen Daniels, a great quarterback, at number 2. I think he is the second player and second quarterback off the board this year. I'm no draft expert by any stretch of the imagination. I listen to people, very smart people like Wayne G. I read a lot and I watch a lot of film. Jaden Daniels is the most talented quarterback in this year's draft. He jumps off the tape when you watch him, but he'll end up going second overall. And Paul says, yes, I agree with you. Top 2 at least. The only way I could see Jaden Daniels jumping up to number 1 is if a team absolutely loves him. If a team absolutely thinks he is the most greatest thing to walk this earth, and that team is willing to jump up to number 1 to assure that he goes to their team, such as the Vikings, such as the Raiders. Now, a team that I think loves him a lot, a team that wants them some Jaden Daniels is the Minnesota Vikings. I think the Minnesota Vikings is a perfect fit for Jaden Daniels. And the Vikings do have 2 first-round picks, 11 and 23. They could package those, move up into number 1 somehow, maybe throw in a second-round pick to the Bears, and then I could see Jaden Daniels going number 1. So if a late round, first round team moves up into that number 1 overall pick, I could see Jaden Daniels going to that team. That's the only way. Paul Akers says Washington won't trade their second pick. I don't think they will either. I think if anything, the Washington Commanders try to move up, try to swap picks with the Chicago Bears. The only way the Commanders move down is if they're moving to like number 4, which is what the Cardinals, right? That's the only way I can see that the Cardinals will not. Sorry, the Commanders will not drop out of the top 5. But everything I've heard is they kind of want to move up, right? They want to get to that number 1 pick, and is it for Caleb Williams? I don't know, because if I remember correctly, Lane Kiffin is the offensive coordinator now for the Commanders, right? And Lane Kiffin was the offensive coordinator for USC, which was where Caleb Williams is from. So some type of correlation there, right? Jim says the Raiders are going to screw up royally and trade for Dak. The only way I see the Raiders trading for Dak this season, I'm assuming you're saying this season, Jim, is if there is a behind-the-scenes contract already in the works, right? Basically, it's kind of going to be like the Russell Wilson to the Denver Broncos, right? They are going to basically already have a deal inked up, ready to go, and then play a game like, oh, we signed him to a 5-year, $200 million guaranteed deal. That's the only way I see the Raiders trading for Dak Prescott this season, because everybody knows Aaron Rodgers is going to Raiders, right? Carson Lang says, if the Bills didn't trade the pick to the Chiefs, I don't think Mahomes gets any rings, and Allen likely has 3. Yeah, you're probably right. I don't know. I would like, in some virtual reality, like I could see, I would like to see how it would actually play out. Let's say Mahomes does go to the Buffalo Bills. Do we see the crazy antics that he has now, right? Because right now, the throws that he makes is pure confidence in himself, and the coaching staff having confidence in him. If he's in Buffalo, we probably don't see that. So I think you're probably right. Ant says Jaden Daniels reminds him of RG3, just a little bit more shifty and a little bit more athletic. Hopefully he doesn't remind you of RG3, because RG3 was a bust in the NFL. Let's just say it. Someone pass me what you're smoking. We don't need Dak. Oh, Carson says, didn't have to put up anything further on the Raiders. Could have just said the Raiders are going to screw it up. Yeah, the Raiders do suck. There are 2 things that we can all agree on in life. The Raiders will never be good. Taxes suck. And the sun will come out tomorrow. See you guys tomorrow. We out.